Hi, welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm your host, Ed Smith. Today we're going to take a look at a 14 team league called the Final Derby. And this league is a little bit near and dear to my heart because my son Brad is in it. And so, get to play against him. And it's a league that, is really deep. And so 14 teams, 1 point PPR, not a whole lot to this league as far as extra things. It was one of the earlier leagues that in existence in 2020, and real deep as far as that goes with 12 starters, one quarterback, one super flex, two running back, three receiver, two tight end, three flex. So when you multiply that out in the 14 leagues, it really is a deep league. 13 bench spots, five taxis for 30 players, on the roster, and then seven IR spots really creates, depth in a 14 team league, especially. So, something that we really elevates the quarterback value a lot here in this league. So, do have a fair amount of quarterbacks, but some of them are low end. I mean, not a question here. But when you start off with your quarterback one being Pat Mahomes, and then Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G, we really feel like we start with some talent there naturally, and we start at the top of the quarterback class. Then we follow through with Mariota and Mills, Trubisky, Brandon Allen, Minshew, Love, Eason, and Felipe Franks. And so there's a lot of lower end guys there. And one of the things that you'll see on a lot of these teams, we have Brandon Allen. And the reason we have Brandon Allen right now is not because we think Brandon Allen's great at football, but because he's the backup to Joe Burrow, who's in the Super Bowl. So you'll see that we took Matt Stafford's backup and Brandon Allen's backup, and so they'd be the last guys to cut because they were the last teams to be playing. And God forbid something happened to Stafford or Burrow in the Super Bowl, and we just wanted to keep those backups on the roster so that we had them in case maybe they wouldn't start for week one or week two, and we thought they probably wouldn't make a move at quarterback to get another one because they were both pretty sold on those quarterbacks. But it would be good to have the quarterback that's starting, when if those injuries were to occur. So it was more of a hedge of a bet with zero cost, and so we just didn't drop those guys. The rest of the guys, we would probably drop Eason pretty quick, and we're waiting to see on guys like Mariota and Jordan Love and Trubisky whether they're going to have starting gig. And so, we just have them there and waiting, and we'll look to move on from them or trade them, depending on what the outcomes are of the free agent period, and then also maybe how things go during the training camps and mini camps and things of that nature, and then NFL draft. And so at this time of the year, we're just hedging bets and we're taking free squares and we're just trying to figure out. And, I'm glad that one of the first leagues I drafted was on Championship Sunday when the NFC champion and AFC champion that Sunday morning. I drafted a dynasty startup back a couple years ago, and what was amazing was how different the NFL was that next year in September. From that point till that next year in September. Now there was no fantasy season per se, but man, were things just totally different, and players that weren't, players that weren't, and so it was a good lesson for me to realize that you just hedge a lot of things over the course of the off season. So looking at those quarterbacks, I feel real good about it in a 14 team league. With who we have and where we are, and feel like we have several. We have a lot of top end talent. Not that we're looking to trade that top end talent, but we do have a lot of talent, and so we're ready to really roll here. The quarterback trading market is very high. I did actually give up a first here for Jordan Love, so that while that wasn't a good trade, it was more of a that's what the value of Jordan Love is. And so if you want Jimmy G, well then he's worth more than Jordan Love. So that's what I was willing to pay for Jordan Love. So you want Jimmy G from me? Okay, well then you need to pay more. You want Davis Mills from me? Well, he's ahead of Jordan Love, so then you got paid more. And so really what I was trying to do is drive a market up. And so you'll look at that trade and you'll be like, oh man, that's too much. But really it was a market setting trade. And now, truth be told, I mean, really, I did it because I shot my mouth off, and I just had to do it because I wanted to actually Jordan Love went for um, James White after James White got hurt, and everybody was bashing that, and I was like, that's crazy. And I'm like, I would have given a first for Jordan Love, and so as it turned out, the guys traded James White and really netted a first round pick. And it was more to kind of show the value of the quarterback than the value of James White, and I was really just trying to move chess pieces. And so sometimes you do things like that to kind of prove a point, and I knew I couldn't win, and so I guess I was really just trying to maneuver. Now, if it was in the middle of the year, I wouldn't have done it, and in hindsight, it probably didn't make a lot of sense because I do have a real philosophy that if you trade away your first round pick, then doggone it, you better be able to win the league, and I didn't win the league, so it didn't make a lot of sense. Um, Keeping that in that vein though going forward, we'll look at the tight ends, and we have Noah Gray and we have Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz getting a little bit long in the tooth, but so we're looking to move on from him. But real shallow tight end room. We got some bad luck in the running back room with James Conner, but then we have James Robinson as well, and so not sure what he's really going to be, and don't have much after him, so really kind of feeling real light there. We have Tevin Coleman, Abdullah, Royce Freeman, Jared Patterson, Sermon, Deion Jackson, Funk, and Sargent. Kind of a theme with some of those running backs, but really they're just dart throw running backs, and just kind of waiting for the right time to draft, and so you know, don't have enough here yet. Though to really go get it. Realize that this team isn't going to win this year. It's just going to be a placeholder year, but next year we'll win. Not a doubt in my mind. So we're just kind of getting everything ready to win. So we might move on from some running backs to get older and just kind of see where James Robinson fits in and know what he is. With a year to just kind of watch. He'll be playing his age 23 season, so we're not real worried about his age next year at 24. But we're just kind of watching what we can do with Connor and Ertz to kind of just build. Um, Looking at the receiver room, I'm slow to trade any of these guys, the first few guys, because I think that they're three valuable starters, and we have A.J. Brown, Pittman, and Hollywood Brown, and then we have Wesley and Beckham, and so both of those guys could be moved for the right price. Um, Looking ahead at the draft, so looking at 2023, we have two firsts, two seconds, two thirds, two fourths, one fifth. So not where we want to be, but feel like with that draft, that's a start of something, and then we start to move on from a couple of these players, and we turn them into some more picks, and all of a sudden we have 4 first-round picks next year. I think that's a real reasonable goal, and if we can get somewhere like that, I think we'll be really happy with where we stand as a team, and we really think this team has a chance to go forward with Mahomes and Watson and a bunch of firsts. I mean, just kind of let that sink in a little bit. So even if we move on from Mills and Jimmy G and Ertz and Connor, but we have three decent receivers that are all young, and we got 4 firsts, 4 seconds kind of idea, and we're ready to just kind of roll here, and then we'll be okay. Looking at the team as a whole this year in the draft, we have number 16 and 26 in the second round, so we do have 2 second-round picks, and those 2 picks will be some sort of dart throws in the receiver room or something like that we could possibly just building into some more flex spots so we have reasonable starters, and just kind of waiting for the running backs when we come in next year and just go hard after running backs. Looking at the third round, we have pick 36, 37, 41, fourth round 50 and 51, and then the fifth round pick 64. And so looking at all those picks, we need to go from the 10th place team this year, or I guess the 11th place team, and we just need to shoot that up to just up to the 8th spot. That gets us in the playoffs. Possibility this league might go to a 17 playoff situation, but let's just say so that we have to just beat out 4 spots, and it might be tough to do this year if we don't draft running backs well and don't have enough tight ends. But next year, I really feel strongly that we'll be able to get real strong into the playoffs and really go after some money. And so, that's what we're focused on here on this team. And, we drafted accordingly. We drafted in the 1 spots. Sometimes that's a curse. But with Pat Mahomes, I look back at all the drafts that I've drafted Pat Mahomes, whether that be 2 years ago or when he was drafted, in their startups. every team, I'm really confident that it's really a pretty good team, and when you have Pat Mahomes out there, it's always a pretty good team. And as we're recording this video, just kind of one of my friends just got hired to be Pat Mahomes' quarterback coach, and so I'm excited for just what the future holds there. As his quarterback coach, Matt will, really I think get the best out of him, and I think it's a good spot for Matt and a good spot for Pat. So, that's an exciting situation going forward as well. Um, Really like to hear your comments on this team. I guess in parting ways, I'm unsure about the team. Unsure if this team is on the right path to win. Year 3 is normally the blueprint year where I really want to take the step forward. I I think if I take an honest assessment of the team, though, I'm not really pleased with where it is, and maybe that Jordan Love trade feels worse as I'm talking about it than it did at the time, and yet I justified in my own head why I made the trade. But when you don't win, I guess it goes back to the factual statements. Is when you don't win and you trade away your first, it didn't make a lot of sense, and so I can justify that trade or why I did it or how I was trying to build a market or do whatever I was doing. And the bottom line is like almost like selling a stock low. You know, at the end of the day, and I guess I need to let that sink in. At the end of the day, if you trade away your first and you didn't win the league, that didn't make sense. And so, let me know what you think of that. Just that analogy. And I always tell people, they ask me about making these videos each and every day, and I say it's really therapeutic for me. It really helps me deep dive into the leagues that I have and take an honest assessment of them and of what we have here and what it is. And so, love to hear your comments. Love to hear you like or dislike. Maybe this is the video you'll say, man, this video sucks, and I'm okay with that. Really, but just love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification and then hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you think of the video, and just really want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch the Fantasy Football Clown Show. And again, I'm your host, Ed Smith, and so look forward to coming to you back tomorrow. So see you then.